So with regards to the video I did, is Freely the Banana Girl lost? Raw Vibe left a comment, and let me read it here. Was Jesus being self-righteous when he turned over the tables in the temple, when the people were selling animals for sacrifice? Was he being overzealous? How would he be viewed in the same context? Evil has to be exposed, not just opposed. And let me go to the passage she's talking about. It's from the New Testament of the Bible, Matthew chapter 21, verse 12. Jesus entered the temple courts and drove out all who were buying and selling there. He overturned the tables of the money changers and the benches of those selling doves. So I think what Raw Vibe is getting at here is that Jesus was repulsed by the fact that animals were being sold to be killed and sacrificed to God in the temple. And I guess you could look at it that way. I think, it's kind of stretching things a little bit when it comes to interpreting what's going on here. And, when you look at this in the context of Jesus's whole ministry, I think what we see here is that Jesus is confronting something within the religious environment of his time, like he did throughout his whole ministry, where he confronted religious hypocrisy, religious self-righteousness, where you had religious leaders do public displays of praying and fasting and giving alms just so that they could get the adoration of other men. It wasn't about them wanting to please God. And Jesus on many occasions exposes that kind of hypocrisy. And so what we have here is that Jesus is cleaning up house, basically. This is an inside job. He's seeing something that's really quite despicable, deplorable, that's happening in a place that's supposed to be a sanctuary where people can go and be in the presence of the divine. Instead, it's become a marketplace, a place for making profit. And so, and this is the thing, Jesus is not opposing and exposing the sinners, the tax collectors, the prostitutes, the corrupt Roman authorities. In fact, he's witnessed on more than one occasion eating dinner with these people. And Jesus even allows a prostitute to wash his feet with her tears and dry them with her hair. And Jesus himself washes the feet of his disciples to display the fact that he did not come into this world to be a dictator, but to be a servant. And that is the example to follow. And I think the most beautiful story in the New Testament is where a group of men come with stones and an adulterous woman, and they're ready to execute her. And they quote the law of Moses, and they're testing Jesus to say, Jesus, what do you think? Do we not have the right to execute this woman by stoning her to death? And Jesus looks at them and says, he who is without sin, throw the first stone. And from the oldest to the youngest of them, they all drop their stones because they realize that they are not without fault. So if we want to, make a parallel and a comparison here to the vegan movement of today, let's say Jesus was a vegan and a part of the vegan movement. What would he be doing? I would say the first thing that he'd be doing is cleaning up house, exposing the hypocrisy within the vegan movement. So, perhaps those who are blatantly making a profit off other vegans, but really don't care about veganism as a way of life, he would expose that. And he would expose those who are self-righteous, who think that they're superior to non-vegans, who think that they're more awakened than non-vegans. He would expose the hypocrisy of that as well. And he would teach us mercy and compassion and love. And we see this in the life of Jesus. So was Jesus being overzealous in the temple when he overturned the tables? No. I think, if anything, Jesus was acting out of a broken heart. And I think his heart grieved for his people, for the religious environment of his time, that they held the treasures to the truth, and yet they completely misused them and abused them, and they rejected the true spirit of religion. And I think Jesus was in agony because of that. And if you follow Jesus, you'll be led to the cross. So Jesus not only opposed and exposed the religious hypocrisy of his time, but he also was willing to go the distance and give himself up. And on the cross, when he was being crucified, what does he say? Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. He forgave them because he loved them. And I'm talking about all mankind. So, this is interesting. Like, I know a lot of you vegans out there are not Christians. You don't follow the teachings of Jesus. And so, but if you're trying to use Jesus as a confirmation of being an animal activist, then also follow the example of Jesus, of being someone that is of love and of compassion for all of mankind, both vegans and non-vegans, especially non-vegans. And forgive, because you yourself need forgiveness, and you yourself need mercy. You're not without fault. I'm not without fault. I don't know what else to say, about this passage, but yeah, I think that's it. Take care.